Hi, I'm hoping that you are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in working with the ICE Core data. And I'm hoping at this point you've completed part one of the exercise. Tomorrow you're going to be hearing from us Mara Lehrman, who's going to talk a little bit about sediment core data. But after that, you're going to come back to this ICE Core data and you're going to need to work with your classmates to graph this on your computers. So what I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about today is exactly how you take that data and work with it efficiently within Microsoft Excel. Now, there are three learning objectives that I hope that you reach by the time you're done with this tutorial. The first is to create within Excel formulas that make simple calculations based on the data that are already there. By doing that, especially if you're working with paleo temperature, you can then efficiently create a graph and then modify it in Excel. So all three data sets will require you to graph data. So I'm hoping by the time you're done with this, you can create the graph and not only create it, but modify it both by labeling axes as well as by drawing on the graph itself. Which you can then export very quickly and easily simply by copying and pasting into your Word document, which you'll have tomorrow. And then finally, I'm hoping that you can make some basic interpretations using some of the features within Excel. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Now that we have our spreadsheet open, so this is a spreadsheet that you should already have downloaded to your computer. You can see I've just taken just a little bit of what you have just to keep it relatively simple. So we're going to make a graph, but it's going to be, I would just say, abbreviated. So the first thing that you want to consider is if you're working with paleo temperature especially, you are going to be creating a formula here in the temperature column. This delta D, this is really, we talked about the oxygen 18 and 16 isotopes that are within the water molecule. And this is really looking at those ratios. And so the good thing is there's a really clear relationship between those isotopic ratios and temperature. And so what we're going to do is to go ahead and you can just go right to that top row, so row 3, and you're going to type equals. And anytime you type equals within Excel, you're telling Excel that you're about to make a calculation. Now, you're going to be working with temperature, and so what you want to type in, and this is right on your handout, which you'll be working with tomorrow, negative 55.5 plus, and then you put a parenthesis, so basically you're doing a couple of different calculations within this formula. And what you next do is go ahead and click on the delta D value. And so as you do that, you're telling Excel that within the E cell here, the E column, you're going to tell it to look to the value that's over here to the left. Like, you can't see it because of the way that Excel works, but it is looking to cell D3. Then you add 440. And then you divide by 6. All right, so it's going to take the value here, add 440 to it, divide it by 6, and then you're going to subtract 55.5 from that value. When I say you, Excel's going to do it for you. So once you have that done, you just hit return, and you should have a value that looks like that. Now, the good thing is that within Excel, you can copy a value anytime you want to, either by clicking right on the cell and hitting Control-C. You're telling it, I am copying the formula, and then I'm going to paste it down here. And you can see now that it's made the calculation, and you notice that those values change because in your original formula, where it says D3, it is going to look to the left of whatever cell it's in. So if you're in E3 and you told it D3, it will look to the left. So for instance, if you are down here in row 7, you can see now that the formula says D7. I go further down D8. So that's one way to do it. Another way that you can do it, and I'm going to go ahead and undo that, Whoops, let's go ahead and put that back in there. All right, so another way, instead of just hitting copy, you can instead, you see there's a little mark there at the lower right-hand corner. You can just drag it down, and that's another way that you can copy so that you complete that column. All right, so for those of you who are working with paleotemperature, that's going to be important. For those of you who are not, it's just good to know how to work with formulas in Excel if you haven't done so before. Now, the other thing that you're going to have to do, and for this, I'm going to go ahead and look at gas age and CO2. So that's the graph that we're going to make. And because you have a huge amount of data, one thing you could do if you wanted was to just click and drag all the way down, but keep in mind you have so many rows of data that that's a really big pain. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to click on column C, hold down the control key on your keyboard, and keep in mind here we're looking at gas age because the CO2 and CH4, those are based on the gases trapped in those air bubbles, not within the ice itself. All right, so now we have told Excel we want to graph those two columns. We go to the insert, so up here on the top here, I click on the insert tab, and I move over here and I click on the scatter chart, and you can see that based on the values that I now have a graph that I can work with. Now they're within Microsoft Excel. You can see here we are now in the chart tools under the design tab, and over on the left you can either add chart elements or just do a quick layout. And for what we're doing right now, let's see, I'm just going to take a look at some of the different things that you can do. And what you don't want to do is have the number of data points that you're going to be working with are so big that you don't want to label the values for every data point. So instead, I'm just going to add chart elements. I'm going to give axis titles both to the horizontal and vertical. I already have my CO2 data up here, and so I'm going to go ahead and label the y-axis. Now keep in mind that what's on the y-axis right here, these are the CO2 values. So we can say CO2 in parts per million by volume. And then on the axis down here, remember we graphed ice age, so we can, or sorry, gas age, and this is in kilo annum, so that's thousands of years. All right, so now we have our graph complete to the point where we can work with it easily. Now for interpretation, the neat thing is that whenever you hover over a point, you can read the values, both the X and the Y axis. And you're going to use that in order to do this, to complete this exercise or this activity, part 2. So that's one really cool thing. And the other thing that I'd like everybody to do is to go ahead and go back to that insert, the insert column, and then what you can actually do is if you see right here, and depending on how you have your Excel spreadsheet set up, once you're in the insert tab, you should see those shapes. And I'm going to put in some arrows. And in this case, there's just one trend that I really want to point out. So I'm going to click on that, click and drag. Let's try that again. Click and drag. And then we have an arrow there that will copy over, when it's time, will copy over directly from Excel into your Word document. Now the good thing about this is that you are going to have to do this. Keep in mind this is only one little piece of your total data set. So once you do this for your entire data set, you're going to see values going down and up and down, and so you are going to put a number of different arrows showing this general trends of the data over different periods of time. And so the good thing is once you have this set, you can just hit Control-C on your keyboard and then go into and then open your Microsoft Word document and hit Control-V, making sure you put your cursor where you want that graph to be, and you will have copied over your graph, and it should copy over exactly as it appears here. Now I know that if you haven't worked with Excel very much, you might want to watch different pieces of this again, just to make sure that you understand how to work with Excel, because like I said, you're going to be doing this at the end of the period tomorrow during our CLE, and you'll be broken out into your sections for that. But make sure to talk with your instructor, ask questions of other students if you need to, but it shouldn't be too bad, especially if you watch this tutorial. So I hope that helps, and look forward to tomorrow.